What is catechesis? In today's culture, we're always coming up with new words and wanting to learn new words. Think of Riz and Skibbity and Bop. Here's a new word today, and it's catechesis. The Christian faith is 2,000 years old, and how do we know what the true core beliefs of the Christian faith is after 2,000 years? How are those doctrines passed down for us to still believe them today? And that's where I believe catechesis is the answer. Catechesis is training, discipling, or to teach orally. The Greek word it's derived from, it literally means that, to teach orally. This is something we do still today in all schools. Catechesis is something that's still practiced mainly in the Catholic Church to be used to prepare somebody for baptism, but that's not how the Protestants wanted to use it. That's not how we can use it either. So what is a catechesis? What does it teach? Catechesis is teaching of catechisms. And a catechism is a summary or exposition of doctrine. The fancy way of saying it, but the better way that I believe explains it, is a catechism is a document written by a person or a church to educate biblical theology. It's simple. We're reading the Bible and we're writing it in a way that is digestible to the hearer. Something we can pass down and something we can teach to everyone regardless of stature. So who are they for? Catechesis is for everyone. Catechisms do not have an age group. There are a depth in which we can take them, and I'm going to have some examples now of that. Here we have a catechism for a child. It is for a child. Here's a catechism for an adult, and it even comes with a study guide with it. And so there are many levels of catechisms. They are for everyone. How to catechize is exactly as simple. It's repetition. Think of your ABCs. How many times did you have to say them? Over and over and over again, these catechisms are meant to be said and taught. Questions and answer format. In the 4th century, and again in the Protestant Reformation, and now today in some of the examples I'll show you, catechisms are written so that it's a question and answer format. So nobody can be passive in here in the Bible study. You have to be paying attention because you're expected to answer. And consistently. We have to continue to consistently teach these things. It is a repetition. It never stops. You're constantly doing these things. Why should we do catechesis? It teaches how to express our faith. When I came to the Lord seven years ago, I didn't have a guidebook, and I believe catechesis is the guidebook I would have loved to have had then. It would have directed my study on what I'm believing. How do I express this new faith that I have? What does it mean to have this faith? And a lot of these answers are asked or answered within a catechism. It teaches what Christians live by. What is it I believe? It answers it in these texts. And it teaches how to live by those Christian doctrines. Now that I know what I believe, and I know why I believe it, but how do I live that out? How do I live that faith out? And catechisms will help with that. J.I. Packer, I got to introduce you to him. J.I. Packer is, in his own words, he's been beating the drum for catechisms for 50 years. His entire ministry almost centered around it. He is a specialist in this. He helped write the Anglican one. And this is a quote from him. The essence of catechetical material is that it links the formulation of Christianity truth with its application in Christian living. What that means is catechisms help bridge what we're learning in Christian doctrine and then how we live it. It's not simply just head knowledge. It's not simply just this emotional response to hearing the gospel. It bridges it. Catechisms are educational and helpful for the Christian life. Examples and resources. I didn't want to give this speech and not leave you with examples and resources. So here's a few. The Heidelberg Catechism, the Westminster one, which is the one I would say is so many, all the rest are based on. Everyone rewrites that one basically. The Episcopal Catechism, the Common Catechism was when Catholics and Protestants come together and wrote core doctrines to be taught. The Anglican Catechism, which I mentioned J.I. Packer helped write, and the New City Catechism is a modern one. And so it's more digestible. It doesn't have the ancient way of speaking, the Old English. This has to be said, the Bible is enough. We don't need more than the Bible to teach us biblical theology. The Bible, of course, is the chief agent of catechesis. That's Kevin D. Young, and he's correct. We do not need more than the Bible, but it is a tool. I'd like to thank you for your time and this opportunity to share catechisms with you.